more than half a century, and others include the large Argos near Breed's Place that's remained empty for several years prior to the pandemic, and big names like Game in Priory Meadow. And several cafes across the town have also closed. It would be unfair to say all of these business closures relate to the business rate system, some due to an increase in rent, on top of the increase in supply and energy costs caused by the pandemic and by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But I've no doubt that business rates is a significant contributing factor to many business closures across the country. The business rate system has become disconnected from the realities of modern retail and retail real estate, and that's why I'm pleased that the government has decided to modernise it. There are several positive measures in the bill which help our retail sector. I think the more frequent cycle, 3 years of re-evaluations, will allow changes in economic conditions to feed through more rapidly into businesses' liabilities, as long-term changes in the economy continue to manifest, accelerated by the aftermath of the pandemic. This will ensure that the business rate system is more agile and responsive to change, and while it will also improve the fairness for ratepayers. However, it has been argued that annual re-evaluations would be most ideal, ensuring a highly responsive and up-to-date system, and perhaps the Minister can explain a bit more about that in her response. The Digitalisation Business Rates project, which I hope will modernise the business rates system, improve the targeting of rates relief, generate better data for central and local government, and help to improve business rates compliance, and measures to support decarbonisation and investment, including a relief for low-carbon heat networks and a new improvement relief so that from April 2024, ratepayers will not see an increase in their rates bill from qualifying improvements made to their property for 12 months. This is important because businesses who improve their properties shouldn't be penalised for it. However, I do have some concerns that the bill doesn't go far enough in helping small businesses. The move to the 3-yearly valuations has a cost to the ratepayer, and the Valuation Office has imposed a corresponding duty to notify, which requires taxpayers to inform them of any changes made to a property within 60 days of the change. This new duty represents a significant administrative burden for businesses, particularly those really small ones, and whenever a change is made to the property, the occupier must inform the VOA within 60 days or be met, it seems, with punitive fines. The VOA's job is to determine a property's rateable value. It does appear from the face of it that the imposition of this new duty is simply the VOA asking the ratepayer to do their job for them. Many small businesses will struggle with this additional burden. Perhaps most concerning is the lack of corresponding duty for the VOA to respond to ratepayers' requests. So while the ratepayer must notify the VOA within 60 days with the threat of financial sanctions, the VOA may respond to them at their leisure, and that hardly seems fair. I'm also concerned that the uniform business rate multiplier has risen to 51p, which is a significant increase from the 34p stood at upon its introduction in 1990. Admittedly, that is quite a long time ago. And whilst freezing the UBR is welcome, it is temporary and contrary to our promise in the 2019 Conservative Manifesto to cut the burden of tax on businesses by reducing business rates. This bill means that there may be annual increases in the UBR by linking it to the Consumer Price Index, and I'd be grateful to the Minister if she could explain a bit more about that. We do need to keep in mind what the voters were promised in 2019 to reduce our business rates bills on SMEs. Can the Minister outline what is being done to lower the UBR and explain how linking the UBR to inflation through the Consumer Price Index will help reduce the tax burden on businesses? Overall, this bill is very welcome and